Hello. Our group researched the whole language theory or the naturalist theory. The whole language movement is rooted in theories by three prominent men, Chomsky, Piaget, and Vygotsky. First, Chomsky believed that oral language acquisition is natural. As you learn about whole language, you will see that the whole language theory applies Chomsky's logic to literacy. Secondly, Piaget suggested that children learn naturally through play and their experiences. Since whole language is an offhand approach that allows children to learn reading in a more natural setting, whole language is very much based on Piaget's theory since children are applying their experiences. Finally, Vygotsky also suggested a natural element to learning to read that involves play, thus aligning with the more natural acquisition of literacy skills in the whole language theory. The basis of whole language is that students should learn reading skills by reading. Just as we learn to talk by hearing others speak when we are young, we can learn to read by being provided literature and being read to. Flashcards, worksheets, and alphabet bingo would be set aside to instead allow students to gain reading skills by reading. This is why the theory is sometimes called the naturalist theory, because naturalism is rooted in the idea that events that occur in the world are natural. Students can apply previous knowledge and experiences to make sense of the text as they learn to read. There is less of an emphasis on phonics under whole language and more of an emphasis on recognizing whole words when reading, known as sight words. The phonics instruction that does occur when students are just learning how to read is done in context. A teacher might select literature with rhymes to help students realize how different letters make different sounds rather than directly teaching phonics. The whole language theory has important implications in how it influences literacy and how educators should teach reading. Children enter school with diverse social, emotional, physical, and intellectual abilities and achievement levels. They also have diverse cultural backgrounds, experiences, and exposures to literacy. Children draw from their experiences to make sense of the world around them, thus forming the framework for new knowledge. A whole language approach involves taking whole words and associating them with prior knowledge. This means that the environment the child grows up in can make the reading experience easier or more difficult based on their past experiences. With the whole language approach, skills such as word recognition, spelling, punctuation, and grammar are taught naturally through reading. Whole language thus shapes instruction because it changes the teacher's approach and materials. It is more important that an educator surrounds children with books than it is to utilize phonics flashcards. The theory was utilized in the 80s and 90s, but it started to decline in popularity in the 90s because of declining performance on the National Assessment of Educational Progress. While aspects of whole language are still utilized today, they generally are mixed in with direct phonics instruction. There are many strengths to the whole language theory. Since students are focused on comprehension and learning skills in the context of books and stories, the whole language approach helps us bring writing, reading, and language together. Furthermore, since students are utilizing their past experiences, this helps students be more creative in storytelling. This approach is also student-centered because it focuses on children learning to read by reading rather than the teacher utilizing numerous strategies and materials. Finally, whole language reading materials often use predictable themes and are easy to read, which makes the reading process less intimidating. There are some negative aspects to whole language theory, and these are the reasons why generally whole language is not used by itself to teach children how to read. Since whole language relies in part on knowledge that the student already possesses, it may not be the best theory for at-risk students. Also, since whole language theory focuses on sight words and de-emphasizes phonics instruction, it may make it harder for students to spell words correctly when writing. And of course, if students lack the ability to associate phonemes with graphemes, they'll struggle when they approach a word they have not seen before. One additional aspect of whole language is that text comprehension is seen as key, much more important than being able to pronounce every word exactly right. Students can use their previous knowledge through top-down processing to help them make sense of what they are reading. Additionally, the uses of this theory can vary based on location and the characteristics of the group learning to read. Here are the various websites we used when conducting our research. And everyone played a role in creating this presentation, and the names and duties are listed. Thank you so much for listening.